The southeastern United States have been a hotbed for doorslammer drag racing since the 1960s. It started with super stockers, then the outlaw super stockers, and then it morphed into much more horsepower than that. Small eighth-mile drag strips around the Charlotte, North Carolina area were the incubator for the class we now know as Pro Modified. And this weekend at ZMAX Dragway, those Pro Mods that run 250 miles an hour will be doing it 4-wide at the NHRA 4-wide Carolina Nationals, the second race in the Road to the Championship Series for Pro Mod action in 2025. Congruity HR Pro Mod has been a dogfight, and this weekend the Shelton Real Estate and Insurance Company is the powered by sponsor for this particular race, and the Shelton family is racing in this field. Welcome everybody into the broadcast booth here. Brian Loans and Bruno Massel. You know, Bruno, Mike Stavrinos ran through the U.S. Nationals. He was weeping at the end. He held the Wally in his hand. And he was actually crying here this weekend at ZMAX as well. The points leader failed to qualify.
Yeah, it's really shocking. You know, the thing is, that's why we have this countdown.
Yeah.
It really packs up the field. If you would have stopped at the regular season, just ran the points, you see J.R. Gray, Mike Stavrinos kind of running away with it. Those two were distanced themselves so much. Now with the reset, every single race matters. One misstep can put you back, and you don't qualify. Man, you're setting yourself up for a big hole you got to dig out of. Mike Stavrinos is now hoping and praying. Those other points leaders, they knocked themselves out early as well.
J.R. Gray has the most rare opportunity in drag racing, a second chance at life. He lost early at Indy. He needs to get back. But the man everybody should be afraid of, the multi-time, gazillion-time champion, Ricky Smith, is back in the hunt, and boy, he wants to get it. Amanda Busick met up with him before he ran.
Well, when we talk championships, you can never count out the veteran of Tricky, Ricky Smith. And you come into this race, you're third in the points. What needs to happen for you to stay relevant?
Win. Need to win this race if we're going to stay in the points chase. You know, we've had a good year. Can't complain for a nitrous car. We're running good, you know, and we thought the hot weather'd gone. Man, it come back here and got hot. They've really done an excellent job with the track to be as hot as it is. So we're going to go out today and go for it and see what happens.
He will be going for it as well as everybody else. As we can see, Mike Stavrinos, the non-qualifier, 61 points ahead of J.R. Gray. That may be the one thing he's got going for him. Enough of a lead that despite not qualifying, even if Gray wins the race or Ricky wins the race, they're not going to get that far around him in the second of 4 races known as the Road to the Championship in NHRA Congruity Pro Modified. Round 1, and we're racing of course 4 wide here this weekend. The man himself, Ricky Smith, the Parkway Ford J&A Service sponsorship. You got Mike Janis lane 1. You got Menhold lane 2. You got Castellana in lane number 4 as we look at our competition ladder. Qualifying was an absolute dogfight. The spread between number 1 and 16 was about 0.06 of a second. A tight window all the way down into the 570s. And again, you heard Ricky talk about the fact that despite the heat, the racetrack's been very even. So we have seen great qualifying runs made out of all 4 lanes. Mike Castellana, the Alan Abbey Racing Machine, a champion a couple of seasons back. This car has not necessarily been kind to them, but it does seem as though they have a pretty good handle on it. They qualified in the upper chunk of the field. Derek Menhold made the final just a couple of races ago. Has that taste in his mouth. He wants to get back there in the Pro Charge Chevrolet Camaro out of the Scott Tidwell Racing Team. And Ricky Smith, the man who needs no introduction. You heard him talking about the fact that he knows exactly what he has to do here. Not just win the round, he needs to win the race. The Vegas finale for these cars will be 1.5 points. So again, anybody who leaves here with a points lead, it could be fleeting or it could be setting the stage for a world championship. They lock in here. Round 1, Pro Mod, first quad. You watch Menhold flinch first. The 23 light. Smith's out early. Ricky Smith didn't make it 300 feet into that run. He is toast. Menhold left first. He's toast. Janis goes 573, 247. Castellana 571. So it is the champions bookending another fellow champion in Smith and Menhold. They will move on lanes 1 and 4. We watch again. Ricky's car left with the front end up as it so often does. This is going to give us a better view, and it just turns sideways just before the 330-foot block. Mike Janis's car at the front end up in the air, and Castellana is going to run down just next to him. And Derek Menhold coming up just short despite that spectacular 23 light. He wasn't even in the frame crossing the finish line. Stevie Fast Jackson, the Motion Raceworks Shadow, the Killing Time Racing Team, Autovinco Racing. Jackson, of course, a multi-time champion, a guy who locked a championship at this race a few years ago. A man who also destroyed a pro-modified car in lane 4 at this track several years ago as well. The Lincoln Welders Dixon Flannel sponsorship for Alex Laughlin. Sidney Frigo, the team car to Stevie Fast Jackson. And Dwayne Wolf of West Virginia rolling in. Beautiful shot there across the bow, if you will, of the Shadow, looking across to Wilson. For Stevie Fast Jackson, it is a new engine program he's working on out of the Killing Time Racing team. A 5.9-inch bore spacing block, screw blower on top. You can see it is electronically fuel injected. That's that massive stuff, if you will, the injectors and lines on top of the supercharger. Sidney Frigo, a virtually identical combination, and all the way over there is Alex Laughlin, also running a Nitro Funny car this weekend. Laughlin trying to go rounds in 2 of the most challenging categories in the sport. All 4 engines screaming with their top-mounted superchargers. This is what it's supposed to look like. A run all the way to the finish line is going to put the Frigo and Laughlin combination 1 and 2. Jackson on a hole shot gets thumped. 578 for Wolf, not enough race car, but Frigo and Laughlin both running 573, both with reaction times hovering in that 30 range. Will move on. That is exactly what 4-wide Pro Mod drag racing should look like. Dwayne Wolf's car just didn't have enough horsepower. A couple of hundredths behind. You see the car wiggling early, but then those 3 lanes 1, 2, and 4 were just separated by thousandths. And for Alex Laughlin, man, he's going to hang his hat on this one. And for Frigo, an ace driving job for the big guy from Brazil. Moves Laughlin and Frigo ahead. And Stevie Fast Jackson was hole shotted not once, but twice in the same run. A rarity. Castellana and Janice have advanced out of the 4 and 12 spots. Laughlin and Frigo out of the 6 and 11 spots. So we'll take one from the top half and one from the bottom half out of each of the first 2 quads. You can see who is left in those top 2 quads. When we come back, we'll continue round 1, 4-wide here at these Congruity Pro Mod Nationals we got going on here in Charlotte. We'll be right back.
The NFL International Games march on in London. So wake up and watch NFL Network. Because here, our stars come out in the morning. Bo Nix leads the Broncos into Tottenham, looking for a win.
Touchdown, Denver!
But Sauce Gardner and the Jets have intentions of their own.
One-handed tag!
It's Sunday morning football. Snooze off, game on. Broncos, Jets. Sunday at 9:30 Eastern on NFL Network.
When it's time to start your business, it's time for Shopify. Design with easy-to-customize themes. Sell everywhere people shop. And never miss a sale with the world's best converting checkout. See why millions of businesses sell with Shopify. Start your free trial today.
We're Mizuho. Sound familiar? Financing the aluminum giant, building better homes? Mizuho was there. The merger of 2 logistics titans? Also us. Anywhere an industrials company needs a corporate and investment bank, we're there. Mizuho Americas.
Ooh, that's a lovely view.
What are you 2 looking at?
Tip pick.
What did you say?
Tip pick. Tickets to the show with no hidden fees.
Don't let congestion take over. Afrin No Trip. Wow. Ridiculously fast nasal congestion relief.
Wow.
The wow is real.
I'm Antron Brown, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion. And when I started my own race team, that was a hard and heavy feat. But one way that got me there quick and fast was Congruity. Congruity was plug and play. When it came in from payroll to workman's comp and also health insurance, they brought it into one bundle, one easy program that you can navigate through yourself, do all your taxes. What I'm telling you is set it and forget it of all your HR resources all in one spot, period.
Competition Products, your source for hardcore engine parts for street, strip, and oval track. Our free catalog is packed with hundreds of product lines from the best-known manufacturers in the performance industry. Lowest prices guaranteed. Free shipping and handling on all orders over $149 in the continental U.S.
Need expert advice? Our knowledgeable staff is just a phone call away.
Competition Products, race parts sold by racers since 1970.
Get ready to play NHRA. Play NHRA is a campaign bringing fantasy, gaming, and betting to NHRA drag racing. Scan the flow code to see options available in your state. Sign up for an account and earn bonus bets to use towards NHRA fantasy gaming and betting. Get started at the official portal for NHRA betting. Play NHRA. 21 plus. Please refer to affiliated operators' terms and conditions. Void where prohibited. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
The NHRA 4-wide Carolina Nationals are presented by Congruity. Congruity HR is your local partner for outsourced human resources. A couple of these drivers going to be looking for outsourced human resources after having been whole shot out of competition or spinning the tires out of competition, as we get a look at our crowd here at ZMAX Dragway. A full sensory experience for kids of all ages at the NHRA 4-wide Nationals. Khaled Al-Belushi, Billy Banaka, Ken Curtuccio heating the tires, and Justin Bond on the racetrack as well. We get a look at our ladder to take a look at these final two quads, if you will, groupings of 4 pro mods in this first round. The Bond, Curtuccio, Banaka, Al-Belushi grouping on now, and then it will be Wright, King, Gray, and Janik. Janik, the only non-road to the championship car that actually is left in competition. He is yet to run. Justin Bond rolling the Brad Personette tuned Alan Abbey Racing Jerry Bickle constructed Camaro ahead. Looking over to see Billy Banaka, the man from Mississippi in the S&B trucking car. Ken Curtuccio of Connecticut and Khaled Al-Belushi of Dubai. We talk about the international nature of this category. We saw a guy from Brazil advance just before we went to break. We'll see if the Dubai-based Al-Belushi can get it done. Al-Belushi's son here is driving as well this weekend. Didn't make the cut, but has shown a lot of promise as a young man in these difficult to operate cars. Ken Curtuccio, that flat black Chevrolet Camaro, getting rolled in. Once you see 4 crewmen with their hands up, it means it is time to send them. Banaka, the only guy with a flat hood in the group. Everybody else got a blower climbing up through it. Bond creeping in. Man, these guys on the 2-step for a minute, and they leave. Banaka, 35 reaction time, and he is going to charge headlong in front of the field. Finish line, it's Banaka going ahead, as well as Al-Belushi. 571 and 574 at 249. The problem you run into in these cars when you're on the 2-step, as long as they were, is it will tend to almost flood the engine. The thing is sitting there just getting fuel dumped into it, and the 2-step is holding the revs at a certain point. So the cars tend to be sluggish down low because they got a bunch of fuel. They're drowning in fuel when they leave. Banaka's car was maybe less susceptible to that, as we saw a significant performance gulf open up for him and the rest of the field. Look at this. By the time they get to the 330, he is saying, hasta la vista, kids. He's gone. Bond's car's got smoke pouring out of it, and Al-Belushi will advance on next to him with a 76 reaction time. Curtuccio's season of NHRA frustration continues. You can see he was about a wheel diameter behind Al-Belushi heading across the finish line. J.R. Gray, listen, the skies have parted, the seas have opened up, and for J.R. Gray, this is the best possible scenario. He's in competition in lane 1. He needs to make up points. Ricky Smith's already been eliminated. He needs to do the job. Chip King of Roxborough, North Carolina, the DreamWorks Motorsports Charger, he's going to roll in. You saw Mason Wright's car. The Modern Racing Elite Motorsports ProFlow Pumping Solutions car, and there's Nick Janik, the Redline Oil C7 Chevrolet Corvette. And again, we talk about the power adder du jour. You can see a roots blower for Mason Wright, a couple of screw blowers out there as well. A class that was once wholly dominated by centrifugal superchargers has made a swing back on the other side of the mechanical pendulum. Can J.R. Gray do the thing that he is desperate to do, make up points on Mike Stavrinos? Stavrinos, a teammate, is having a whole load of mixed emotions now, and somebody needs to stage their race car. Here we go. Clean launches all across, no red lights. Janik's hanging onto it. And look at Gray, he's out. Gray's car gave up the ghost at about 800 feet. Chip King is 41 on the tree, and Mason Wright moves ahead. 575 for King, 571 for Wright. Janik was on the edge of traction the whole run, and J.R. Gray was 29 green, and then a mechanical failure sunk him and maybe a championship. The car had the front end up a couple of 100 feet, and then it knocked the blower right off it. Boy, oh boy, that backfire, igniting the methanol in the intake manifold, dislodges the supercharger. Game over after that big wheel standing launch. And Mason Wright, who has been great this season, continues to be. And Chip King, the man from Roxborough, North Carolina, will take the DreamWorks Charger on. And Nick Janik, you can see on the edge of the groove at full throttle at the stripe. A wild first round. Banaka, Al-Belushi, Castellana, and Janis. Wright, King, Laughlin, and Frigo. That's who's moving on. And frankly, this is now, again, a wide-open points chase. The top 3 guys are garnering no points this weekend, which means the bottom 8 can really make a run at him. When we come back, the quarterfinals or the semifinals of 4-wide Pro Mod drag racing here in Charlotte.
NetCredit is here to say yes to a personal loan or line of credit, even when other lenders won't. Apply online in minutes and get funds deposited the next business day or sooner. Go to netcredit.com. NetCredit. Credit to the people.
There are only a few men I'd trust with my life. 2 of them built this wallet. These wallets are a direct reflection of the kind of men who built it. It's built to last, built to function. If anything happens to it, they'll take care of it. No questions, no fine print. If you knew the guys who created this wallet, you wouldn't carry anything else.
TV's most addictive medical drama is back.
I will do whatever it takes to get my memory back.
And Tuesday is all new.
We're working against the clock here.
With the biggest reveal yet.
Dr. Larson? Dr. Larson? My brain is trying to warn me about something.
Doc, all new Tuesday on Fox.
Are you tired of seeing money all around the house? Then start saving money with First American Home Warranty. First American covers the systems and appliances you depend on every day. And if we can't repair your covered item, we'll replace it.
I've saved thousands, and that makes me happy.
All plans include a no questions asked money back guarantee and flexible payment options so you can never pay for covered repairs again.
Call 1-800-974-7082. That's 1-800-974-7082.
Through HIMS, I found ED treatment for me. Personalized and delivered directly, so I can live my life with the confidence that I'll be ready, because my treatment is made for me. Get started today at hims.com.
Summer or New Year's or today at noon. Loving pet care in your neighborhood.
And we are back. The scene in the suites this weekend. J.R. Gray, Stevie Fast Jackson, Justin Bond, Al Tucci hanging out for autograph sessions, meet and greets with the fans. This is Pro Mod country, and the fans have come out in droves to watch their favorites run. And many of those favorites have been thumped in the first round. There's a lot of bruised egos out there and some busted lips. We're going to get now these final 2 setups to set up our final here in Charlotte. And we on the racetrack, we'll see Wright, King, Laughlin, and Frigo on one side, Banaka, Albelushi, Castellana, and Janice on the other. We have not seen really mental mistakes made by anybody so far. We've seen some mechanical failures. We'll find out if that continues here as the pressure ramps up in the semifinals. Mason Wright is in lane 4, where he was before. Chip King in lane 3. He's coming out of lane 2 previous run. Frigo's in lane 2, where he won out of in the first round, and Alex Laughlin back over in lane 1 in the Lincoln Welder's car. Again, the same lane he won out of in round number 1. People plugging their ears as loud as these things are, 2 at a time, 4 to wide, is absolutely ear-splitting. These screaming 10,000 RPM blown engines. A deep breath for Frigo's crew guy, looks across the racetrack. Laughlin's pre-stage. There we see everybody lighting the top half of the bulb, if you will. Mason Wright is yet to roll in lane 4. Wright's in. Frigo's locked. Wright's locked. King forgot where he was. King's going to time out. Chip King forgot where he was on the racetrack and failed to stage the race car. Laughlin was a day late. He was a 660 light. Frigo moves on with a 767 reaction time. Great airplane, horrible reaction time. Mason Wright goes 640 and he moves on. What in the world? This is what happens when the chain of concentration gets broken like we just saw. All hell breaks loose out there. You can see Mason Wright. His car was sideways. He pedaled, shaking the tires, and he still managed to be the first guy to the finish line because he was at the 8th mile before anybody else decided to leave. We almost had to send the starter over to knock on their windows and ask him to go. Laughlin's dirt tracking the thing through the first 330 feet. He still got the front. Watch lane 1. Laughlin's car is just absolutely halfway out of control. Sidney Frigo was clean. He just left with a reaction time we caught on a sundial, but he moves on to the final round. That is unbelievable. And now Mike Janis will be next to Mike Castellana. You want to talk about a side-by-side for the ages. Two of the all-time greats in pro modified drag racing in two of the lanes. That would be lanes 1 and lane 2. Banaka's on the racetrack as well. You see him sitting in lane number 3, the S&B Trucking. Or this is actually lane 4, I should say. Belushi is in lane number 3. Frank Manzo, the crew chief for Mike Castellana. A guy who has shown great frustration with this race car, but this weekend, between qualifying and a first round of eliminations, it seems as though they may have got a cure for their ills, and it has come at the exact right time. Brandon Stroud putting his hand up there. Guy who works on Billy Banaka's car. Everybody's locking down now. They all just saw what happened with Chip King and the catastrophe that unfolded around that. Everybody here seems to be playing nice with each other. They now go into stage. Mike Castellana's last in. They all leave on time. 33 and 43 lights. Big trouble in lane 2 and lane 3. It is going to be Banaka and Castellana making the final quad. Castellana the whole shot. First to the finish line win. 571.9251. Banaka was the quicker car but left with a 99 light, so he got there second. But man, Mike Castellana absolutely locked down, and look at how well that car's working. Banaka's run here. Tried to quiver the tire. He did a fantastic job. The windshield deflecting under the 250 mile an hour speed that car is achieving. Janis's car throwing parts across the racetrack early. Al Belushi's car throwing parts across the racetrack a little later. So lanes 1 and 4 make the final. Castellana and Banaka. It'll be Banaka. It'll be Castellana. It'll be Wright and Sidney Frigo in the final round of this 4-wide pro modified drag race. And man alive, the semifinals lived up to the hype, and why this category is an absolute chaos machine at times. Let's go to the top end of the racetrack. Sidney Frigo is in that final quad, and we talked to him after turning on a wind light.
And Brian, you just missed Chip Keen walking over to talk to us and said, I know what I did wrong there. I was looking at lane 2. And Sidney, we just talked off camera of what a points day this can be for you. Headed to the final, why does this matter right now?
Win the race. It's a tough year for me and my guys. I'm so happy, really, really happy for me and my guys. I hope we win the race.
The big man from Brazil with the big heart races with that heart on his sleeve of his fire suit, always has, as his tuner, Stevie Fast, gives him a high five. Mason Wright gets a peck on the lips, and Mike Castellana gets ready to strap in for the final round. We're going 4 wide for the finals right after this.
Don't let congestion take over. Afrin No Drips. Wow. Ridiculously fast nasal congestion relief.
Wow.
The wow is real.
To buy or not to buy? That is their question. And nobody knows shoppers better than Shopify. The undisputed, undefeated checkout champion of the world. Businesses that want to win with Shopify.
Many of you guys always ask how I'm going to so many concerts and football games. Getting the tickets, you're like, oh, this is such a good deal. You go to check out, it's still such a good deal. There's no extra hidden fees. Me, Pick.
Precise designs, subtle curves, curated upgrades, elevated design for thoughtful living. Thuma.
Culp Lumber Company is a family-owned and operated sawmill located in New London, North Carolina. Henry Culp Sr. started with a portable mill in the 1920s, and today Culp Lumber has more than 100 employees and a business that covers trucking, wood procurement, the sawmill, dry kilns, and a world-class planer mill. Manufacturing southern yellow pine into building material is the focus of this facility that produces 125 million board feet each year. Byproducts such as mulch, wood chips, and sawdust are captured and used in the agricultural and landscaping industries. Culp Lumber Company, sawing its way into the future. Visit culplumber.com for more.
Champions, forged by the pressure of the countdown, will rise. It's where ambition meets asphalt, where some dreams are made and others go up in smoke. It all ends here at the final race in the countdown to the championship. November 13th through 16th, the In-N-Out Burger NHRA Finals comes to the In-N-Out Burger Pomona Drag Strip. Get tickets at NHRA.com. Kids 12 and under get in free with general admission. Be there as champions are crowned November 13th through 16th.
I'm Antron Brown, 4-time NHRA Top Fuel World Champion, and when I started my own race team, that was a hard and heavy feat. But one way that got me there quick and fast was Congruity. Congruity was plug and play. When it came in from payroll to workman's comp and also health insurance, they brought it into one bundle, one easy program that you can navigate through yourself, do all your taxes. What I'm telling you is set it and forget it of all your HR resources all in one spot, period.
It's Fox College Football Friday, and Baby Mahomes is under the lights in prime time.
Here comes Dylan Raiola. He shows that Patrick Mahomes-like flair.
Nebraska.
Oh, man, did he drop it in?
Minnesota.
Touchdown!
Fox College Football Friday kicks off at 8 Eastern.
The NHRA 4-wide Carolina Nationals are brought to you by Culp Lumber, sawing our way into the future. 100+ million board feet a year Culp Lumber processes at their sawmills, and it is an impressive operation. It was an impressive track walk and has been an impressive crowd at ZMAX Dragway in Concord, North Carolina. $7,500, the bonus given to Mason Wright for the USI Pro Mod Showdown, which is a qualifying bonus. It's a big payday for those guys before they even turn to wheel and eliminations. One final look at how we got to this final 4 cars, and the names tell one story, the actions, of course, tell another. It was complete and utter chaos in the Wright, King, Laughlin, Frigo round 2 matchup. But now we get the 4 guys who have waded through that chaos to run down for the Wally, the points, and the paycheck here on Sunday afternoon. Lane 4, Banaka. Lane 3, Wright. Lane 2, Sidney Frigo. And lane 1, Mike Castellana. Again, Billy Banaka looks around, and he's the only guy with a flat hood, which in this style of racing is a benefit. Think about it. You got a big screw blower, a big roots blower in front of you. If you are positioned to the left side of the tree, meaning you have to look across that, your field of vision is very limited. Banaka has the whole world in front of him with that cowl-style hood and the centrifugal supercharger, the Pro Charger, that is mounted down in front of his engine. A little fresh air being fanned in on the ProFlow Pumping Solutions Camaro of Mason Wright. Banaka has come close. He's been a finalist multiple times, never won in the national event level. Frigo has. We know Castellana's a former champion. Mason Wright has multiple victories to his name from New Hampshire and other spots. All 4 guys get ready to take a deep breath and stage it up. There will be 2 more opportunities to gain points after this one to lock out a Pro Mod season for the ages here in 2025. Mason Wright rolled through. Wright overstages the car. Castellana and Frigo left before the tree was activated, and Banaka's almost over the center line. This is chaos. So lanes 1 and 2 left before the tree was activated. Banaka was a 366 red light and almost crossed the center line. We're going to have to hear from officials to sign this one off, as once Mason Wright overstaged the car, Castellana and Frigo specifically left. Castellana went off the sound of him leaving. Banaka at least sat around long enough to see some semblance of a light, and there's the near center line infraction. NHRA officials are telling us he did not cross. Billy Banaka, a first-time winner here, as we watch again. Look at how close this guy comes from getting himself thrown out after his 2 opponents red lit before the tree was activated. Let's talk to him at the big end.
And Billy, you just said it's completely worth the wait. I hate we had to make you wait a little bit longer to hold that first career Wally here in Pro Mod. How memorable will this final be for you, Billy?
Oh, it's very memorable. It's a little screwed up, but I thought I'd lost, really. But I think the whole deal was a mess up, but it worked out in my favor. I'd like to thank my wife for being here. Brandon Stroud, my crew chief, and my whole S&B family at home, and my kids, and my whole crew. They did a great job. And thank you very much.
What a day for this guy. His first NHRA Wally in one of the wildest final rounds you've ever seen. And don't look now, but Billy Banaka is the points leader. He is the one that took advantage of the situation. He has placed Mike Stavrinos in second. J.R. Gray, 72 back, is going to have to do the desperate things a desperate wannabe champion needs to do in the last 2 races. And that is how it goes in Pro Mod in Charlotte. We have 2 races left on this season. We are taking these wild cars to St. Louis. We're taking them to Las Vegas, where it will be points and a half. So the championship hopes of guys like J.R. Gray not completely dashed yet, but they are definitely hung up on the ropes. On behalf of Bruno Massel and Amanda Busick, I'm Brian Loans, and this has been a 4-wide Pro Mod drag race, the likes of which we have